everybody. Bob Sears here again, and I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. And I started thinking about that Independence Day, right? You know, they had a great movie on it. But I started thinking about holidays in general, and specifically this Independence Day, and what that really means to people, and do they really think about what it means to them? You know, it's funny, we go through so many holidays, and I don't know that the true meaning of the holiday resonates with everybody. And, you know, a lot of times we go through Christmas, and, you know, when you're kids, it's like, what gift am I going to get? Thanksgiving, it's like eating the meal and watching football. And Thanksgiving and Independence Day is really about eating hot dogs and going to the pool and the beach, right? Not really, right? So I started thinking about being independent. What does that mean? I mean, the bigger picture of the country, I mean, I think we live in the greatest country in the whole world, and I've been to a lot of different countries and blessed to do that. And I always miss coming back home because it's just different, right? And neither bad nor good. I just think that our system and the way of life is better here than it is anywhere else. And I've been in some, you know, fantastic places. You know, Romania, I've been to Russia, I've been to South Africa, England. I mean, there's a lot of places that I've been, and, you know, there's good things about them for sure. You know, a lot of times it's food, but there's a lot of good things about them that's exciting and interesting and historical. But when you know, home is home, and I'm sure they feel the same way, and I don't begrudge them that. But true independence for me is thinking about how do you have the freedom to enjoy the life that you want, and you can do that in your own way. Specifically, I was thinking about how most people, when they come to us and they want to start a business, their reaction is, I go, why do you want to start your business? Like, what is it about the business that you really want? And the first thing they'll say is, well, I really want time freedom. And I almost want to crack up, because most business owners know, that are listening to this, you know, time freedom in a business is sort of working 100 hours a week trying to figure it out. Now, you can create systems around things, and you should create systems around things, and that's how you scale, and that's what I teach a lot of people to do. But, or I should say, and there's the element of understanding that initially, to create momentum, you probably work harder in your business than you do if you had a job, which is cool, because part of the reason why you don't get paid in a job the way you should is because, you know, your time, effort, energy is being subdivided by other people, right? There's other people supporting the business, and that's what you're doing. When you first initially start the business, you're usually ending up putting a lot of time, effort, energy in, and I think there's so few business owners that really, you know, initially have that, quote, time freedom that they're looking for. Now, if you do everything right, the game is to eventually figure that out so you can leverage yourself, right? Get residual income, or figure it out where you can, you know, create a staff that does the things that they need to do to get you that leverage you want. Now, there is a bit of freedom because you are independently working on the things that are important to you. So that's part of the independence, right? A lot of times people do businesses and they would do it whether they were getting paid or not. Sort of a clue there sometimes, right? Like, so you're doing those things, you're putting in the hard work, and you may not even get paid on this for a while. And that's the difference, right? That's where you need to think about what is independence to me? What does it truly mean to me? Because frankly, a lot of people are going to be eating hamburgers, hot dogs, going to the beach, and they're going to be celebrating Independence Day, and they're not independent. They're not doing the things that they want to do and they love and they feel brings them value, brings other people value. They're trapped and not independent because they're working at a job. They're doing things that they don't like. They're frustrated. They're just in a place, even business owners who are in a place that are frustrating because they don't understand how to get that leverage, how to scale their business, how to break away from that challenging portion of the business that does take some ingenuity and some systems to get away from, you know, doing the day-to-day thing. But initially, that's part of the package. And I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Independence Day, but I really wanted everybody to think about, what does Independence Day mean to you? And do you have independence in your life? Do you really, truly embrace the fact that this country allows us to be so free to do things that in other countries you can't sometimes, and have all the opportunities? And I'll say this, and I've said this before to people, and people get frustrated when, and I'm not going to go into a big debate of other people coming to our country and that type of thing, but I will say this: when other people come to America from different countries, they end up loving America so much for the freedoms that they have, and they build businesses, they work 2 jobs to buy a house, they work their freaking butts off to make it happen. And I'm not saying people in the United States don't make that happen, but a lot of times I see frustrated people in the United States that have all the freedom in the world, and they're not participating in that freedom. They're not. They're taking it for granted. And that's one of the challenges with sort of life, is when you have everything that we have here, you sort of take it for granted. When I go to other countries and I see that they don't have the freedoms that we have, Russia, when I went to Russia, I was at an entrepreneurial get-together, 2,000 people I was speaking to, and it was simulcast to 10,000 people, so I get a small get-together in Russia. But it was about entrepreneurship, and the excitement, the desire, they would taking everything in like a sponge, and they would always implement the things you told them. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that doesn't happen here a lot of times, because we take it for granted. So one of the things I'd ask you to do is respect the fact that you're here in the United States. Think about what you really want to do. Embrace those freedoms. Really think about, how can I go out and make my Independence Day mean something? Not just for today, but for the rest of your life. Because that's really the excitement. That's really what Independence Day is about. It's about the freedom to choose to do what you do when you want to do it, right? This resonates with everything I say at the end of this conversation. Every time I say, you're one decision away from living the dream life you want. But you've got to make that decision. You've got to figure out what it is. You've got to start putting action into it. Feeling, desire, love, work, right? If you start doing those things, your life can be completely the desire that you want it to be. So I want to thank everybody for listening in on these little conversations. And again, I should share them, comment on them. Give me, if you want me to talk, if you want to argue about this point, if you want to discuss this, anything, just let me know and we'll talk about it. But I really wish you a happy Independence Day. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, you're only one decision away from your dream life. So make it happen.